My name is Matthew Rosa. I'm a rising senior. I am going to a Florida Christian school.
Nice, bro. So tell me, what happened that made you realize that you needed our service?
So I need a higher SAT score. I was like, it's not like I had a bad one. I had a 1270 before going into the program. And I was like, well, I've heard good things about this place from friends and stuff like that. So I was just like, well, let's check it out and see if it actually works. And, it definitely raised my score.
Wait, what was your situation? Tell me more about like your situation at that time. Like, you had taken a test, right?
Mm-hmm. The SAT, yeah.
And when did you take that test?
So the time I had taken it before you guys was junior year and then sophomore year. So sophomore year I got a 1230 and then junior year I got a 1270. So I expected more of an improvement going from sophomore to junior year. So when I saw only like a 40-point difference, I was like, damn, like I really need to start thinking about this, because when I'm researching colleges like late into my junior year, and I'm seeing like, oh, FSU, it's like I'm not even reaching the middle 50% of these schools I want to go to, or if anything, I'm like scraping it. So really what I wanted was like a score that was good enough to basically guarantee that I would have a at least like reasonable shot to get into the schools that I'm aiming for.
Do you remember the ranges or no?
I think no, honestly, I don't. But I remember that my FSU, like I think it was 1290, and I had 1270, so I wasn't even like reaching it. And then
Yeah.
UF was like 1330, 1340, something like that, and I wasn't even near that. So when I realized like these are the schools I want to go to, yet I'm not even in the 50 percentile of the students that go there, like I knew I needed to like do something about it, like Khan Academy, just Khan Academy wasn't going to cut it, or just like winging the SAT wasn't going to cut it either.
Yeah, the if I'm not mistaken, at least in the UF hasn't updated in a while, but their range was something like 1310 was the bottom 25th, and then
Yeah,
the 75th was like 1450. So you had to get between.
I had to get in between those numbers to at least like not solidify I'm going in, but to at least like have comfort and be like, okay, this isn't a far reaching school. Like this is like one that's like, okay, this is achievable, you know.
Yeah, like
But
you,
like
you
with the
checked
score
off
that I
the.
had before, it wasn't achievable at all. It was like not that it's not achievable at all, but it's like it's harder to imagine me going there with that score.
Right, you got to check that academic box off, right? Like
Exactly.
GPA
Like I had
score.
everything else. Like I have a bunch of extracurriculars. I have good grades. I have a fairly decent GPA, like I have good stuff, but like that SAT, that like in all of their like check boxes that they ask for is, and that always says like it's always very important, the SAT score and the ACT score and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when I realized like my score, while it's not a bad score, wasn't good enough for the standards of the schools that I wanted to go to, I knew I needed to like do something. So that's why I went to your program and people started telling me about it and stuff like that.
Wait, how'd you find this?
So a friend told me about it, and a couple of friends told me about it, and they sent me your Instagram. And then like stuff like I went to your website, looked at it, and then we had the Zoom meeting, and then like stuff just like formed, and I started doing it.
And tell me, what was your expectation of the virtual group learning environment?
So I thought it was gonna be mostly like how Zoom was with the pandemic, that you would be in a big classroom and people would be talking, and like there wouldn't really be a lot of opportunities to ask questions. You kind of just be like, instead of it being like, okay, you're going one by one per question, instead it's like, okay, now we're teaching you the lesson, and then we're just going to have you do like 5 or 4 questions, and then we're going to teach you another lesson and another lesson, when in reality it was like, okay, now you're being put in a group with 5 people and a tutor, and then we're just going to like nonstop shoot like 100 questions in 5 or 4 hours, so it was like I thought it was going to be like pandemic Zoom, but it wasn't. It was more like a small group style thing, like more of a study group rather than a classroom, I guess I would say.
Nice. I guess, in what way was that better than pandemic?
It was better than pandemic because I mean, I wasn't as embarrassed to ask a question. Like, it's different asking a question in front of 50 people than it is in front of 5 people, you know? Like, I'm not as embarrassed to ask it. And it was easier for the tutor to check, like for example, when we were on a question and we were like writing stuff down, my tutor, it was Ash. And then so while I'm like doing my question, if once I put in like my answer, like she's able to tell me yes or no. And if I get it right, she says you're right, and then like, you know, I sit back and I wait for everyone else to finish. Or if I'm wrong, she like tells you, oh, maybe you should check this, maybe you should do that, you know, like stuff like that, you know. It was like I was able to get more personal feedback on what I did rather than just like getting a general yes or no thing.
Nice. Okay, cool. And how would you describe our service to someone else? Like, what should they know?
It's tough but beneficial. It's like, you know how we were talking about like, oh, we just we just came from a gym and stuff like that. It's like when you go to the gym, you're going like knowing you're going hopefully knowing it's gonna be a tough workout and you're gonna sweat and you're gonna like your muscles are gonna hurt tomorrow, your muscles are gonna hurt the day after. And like you're going in anticipating that, but at the end, you know, compared to where you were before, you're gonna be at a much better place at the end of it, you know, rather than just like if you're going to the gym doing very little stuff and then expecting a big outcome, like that's not going to happen, you know, like hard work comes out of it. And that's kind of what happened with the thing. That's like, I mean, when I first went into it, I was like, okay, this is going to be cake. And then it wasn't. Like, I was like, honestly, it was like more work than like my actual school. But at the end of it, like I got what I wanted. I got more than what I wanted. Like I had to put a lot of hard work into it, which I didn't expect going into the program. But eventually, like all that hard work eventually paid off with a score that I didn't even expect. It was a better outcome than I even expected.
So what was that result that we helped you get? Like, what was your initial and your final score and like the overall improvement?
So my initial score was in math was a 610 when I took it in junior year in March, and then I took it in May in like the middle ish of the program, and I got I improved to a 1290, and then I took it at the end of the program in June, and I jumped from a 1270 to a 1400 and a 750 in math. So 610 to 750.
140 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully I did the math right. Congrats, bro. So I mean, you did all the hard work, you know. I know you said it was crazy, but it worked out, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, it did work out. It was you know, it was tough, you know, like juggling like AP tests. Like it was in the middle of all the testing and finals and stuff like that, you know. So it's like I didn't have a lot of time to study for finals and study for the SAT. But I think if I had chosen a better time, like the beginning of the school year, middle school year, it would have been a lot better. But it
You
was hard work, yeah. But you know, I thought it was worth it at the end. While I was doing it, I was like, I'm so tired, bro. Oh my god, like I'm here for like 4 hours. I'm doing homework after, like I'm so many practice tests, and then like when I got, I was like, yeah, it was worth it, man. It was like, Jesus, I actually like was able to get what I wanted.
So, and what has this result meant for you?
I guess I would say security. And I know like an SAT isn't all that colleges look at, but like considering how like important it is and at least how pushed it is in school, I would assume in a holistic view of a college application, it's like pretty important to like view academic standard rather than just looking at a GPA. And it's so at least it's meant for me like security that like these schools I want to go to, that while they're tough to get into, I have at least like proof with my GPA, my extracurriculars, and my SAT, at least with those three like important things, that I am like not I am like I guess worthy of going to school. I'm like good enough to go to the school. Like a GPA and extracurriculars is good, but at least an SAT is a good number for them to know like, okay, this kid's good. Even though like an SAT isn't everything, but is still really important.
Yeah, it's a good academic metric.
Yeah, it's giving me a lot of security.
All right, awesome, bro. Well, do you have any advice for other students currently on their SAT prep journey?
I would say start early. Like I would say don't cram it like the night before, because that's what I did. Like the first time I took it my junior year in March, is I just crammed everything the night before, and I was tired when I got in. So I would say don't cram your work, your workload, yeah. So I guess for the program, I would say don't do all the homework that you're assigned on one day. Like spread it out, like have a schedule. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do these 8 questions that they assign me on this day. Yeah, I know I didn't do that either, and I'm giving advice that probably most people won't take, because we're all
Yeah.
procrastinators. And it's funny like that, because we're all saying like, I'm gonna improve my life, and then we don't. But it's much better and much less stressful if you just spread out the work, and it's a lot better than what I did. Even, and I would say like any improvement is improvement. Like even if you get like 10 points more, like whatever, like you're still getting smarter, you're still getting better. And I would say like even if you don't get like the exact score you wanted, like an SAT is just a number, it's a test. It doesn't define you. Like it literally, like in the grand scheme of life, for college it means something, but for the grand scheme of life, like an SAT does not define you. Like you define you. Just like try your best doing this, study, learn. If you get anything out of this, you'll get a lot of math, and I guess now reading, because you're doing the reading course.
You define you. I like that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that with me, man.
Yeah. So say that in your next class.
I will. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be like, yo, listen up, people. My man got something to say to you. Yeah, that's awesome, bro. All right. Well, is there anything else we should know?
I mean, I can't think of anything other than just like, enjoy high school, like senior year. I mean, it's like for me, it's been slow, but at the same time, like I've made so many experiences, like just like enjoy high school, I guess is what I would say. Like don't study all the time, like go out. It's not only about studying, it's also about having fun. I guess I would say that.
Uh,
Yes, 100%.
bro. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
100%, man. Yeah, I appreciate everything you did for me, bro. Honestly.